We also see twice the reality of Jesus' supremacy as the judge over all. First, over all the angels, authorities, and powers. That's in 3:22. Who has gone into heaven and is at the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers having been made subject to him. Second, over all that reject him, both the living and the dead. They will give an account to him who is ready to judge the living and the dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to God in the Spirit. We read Philippians 2:9. Therefore, God also has highly exalted him and given him the name which is above every name, that in the name of Jesus every knee should bow, of those in heaven and of those on earth and of those under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Jesus is the judge. He is the final judge. That is the second mindset that I believe through the context of this passage that Jesus had an understanding of as he went to the cross, and that we need to recognize. Because one of the things that will cause the greatest difficulty for you, I believe, in walking in holiness and patiently enduring suffering that comes your way for the good that you do, is not hating those by which hands the suffering comes from. Does that make sense? Because people are going to hurt you. People are going to attack you. And sometimes it's the closest people to you. People you never saw coming from. You never thought that person would do that to me. But because you are standing for righteousness, because you are doing good for the sake of the gospel of Jesus Christ, heavy blows come your way. And one of the hardest things for us to do in the midst of that is to love those that are actively hurting us. But that's the right thing to do, isn't it? That's what we're called to do. To love our enemies. To love those that spitefully use us. That persecute and abuse us. We're supposed to love those. Now, we're supposed to love them enough to know this, or we need to recognize this, that judgment is coming their way too. They will be judged for the evil works and for the sin that they do. You need to love them enough to continue to love them through the persecution that they give you. They'll get theirs. You don't have to be their judge. You don't have to try to make them, I'll repay you. I'll make sure you get back what you've done to me. Throw that out. Jesus is the judge. He's the righteous judge. He's judge over all. Our purpose and like-mindedness in suffering is both the hope of salvation and the reality of judgment. We need to understand that Jesus Christ is the eternal judge. We patiently endure that God might be glorified, and that those looking upon what God is doing in our lives might be saved.